Hey everyone, Chris here. Thanks for joining me on this We Are Iowa Plus update to your Local 5 weather impact forecast. We're going to be tracking some thunderstorms as we go throughout this evening and into early on Wednesday morning. But I'm not really thinking all too much of the severe threat that we have ahead, at least here for this evening. In fact, the severe outlook has gone through a little bit of a reduction here. Previously, that level 2 extended way up and around further to the north and to the west, now limited down towards US 34 and points southwards. Even still, I'm not really liking the setup for severe thunderstorms. Here's what we have at the time of the recording, and I'm going to drive the radar around here just a little bit. See that midday little pulse of showers right over central Iowa? Well, that's stealing a lot of the otherwise energy that we would have to form up thunderstorms. So they're forming on the periphery, so down towards Davis County at the time of this recording, pushing to the north and east, and there's some stagnant moving cells up here in northwestern Iowa. I want to take a little bit of a closer look at this activity because it would natively hoist a little bit of a flash flooding concern, especially considering just how slow things are actually moving here. This is the loop over the last hour. And notice kind of around the Highway 18 corridor up here from Algona back to the west towards Spencer, you see just some subtle southward movement on this. Now, thankfully, the setup here today does not bode well for long-lived thunderstorms. They will be pulse-like, meaning new cells will develop here and there, and once those old cells rain themselves out, they won't redevelop over the same area. But I'm watching the southern movement here. It's very slow to actually take off. So we'll watch for maybe a few spots to pick up a quick 1 to 3 inches of rainfall. Let's check out what we have in some of these areas so far over the last 6 hours. And as that data loads in, you notice there were a couple of flash flood warnings back towards Sioux Center to the Lamar's area. There are some estimates here north of 4 inches. So this is going to be the kind of activity we're going to be watching, nearly 3.5, and then as you do move west of Algona, 2.5 or so. So it is something we're going to be watching, but you notice we haven't had any severe thunderstorm warnings, and I really don't think we're going to in the end. I think the best potential would be within the next hour down over Davis County, but that chance is going to come and go. Eventually, this line of cells is going to slowly drift its way southwards overnight, but in doing so, it will be in a weakening state as we go into the overnight. I'm going to pull up the web browser here. I want to drive a little bit. What I'm showing in over Iowa, I'm actually going to reduce the size a little bit so I don't have to keep minimizing. You see Iowa down here into the center. Whoop, wrong button. Bear with me. So what I have shown here is the thunderstorm energy, and we have some, but it's not heaps and bounds in the scenario that we have here. So what else drives those thunderstorms? Well, it's going to be the wind shear. And oftentimes my go-to here to look at is from 0 kilometers to 6, and that effectively looks at the full profile of the atmosphere. And notice largely nothing is showing up over Iowa. I'm looking for marks up to about 40. So this is the reason why we're just not expecting severe storms. We don't have the appropriate turning in the atmosphere. So watch over Iowa again. I'll go out on the effective shear moving forward. Notice we do get a little bit in here overnight, but by the time we roll out 6 hours, we're getting after dark. And so we start to lose the energy. So it's a little give and take there. I just don't like the severe weather possibilities, and that's why we've removed the weather impact alert day status. I think at this point we're going to watch just how much rainfall that we will see overall, but it is, I think, going to stay into the realm to where we can handle it. And I think those worst impacts are happening now over the next couple of hours outside of the local area in northwestern Iowa. And then storms will be progressively moving further to the south a little bit more quickly. What you're seeing here is this is the non-supercell tornado parameter. So basically weak spin-ups. And when we don't have a lot of shear, there's still some stretching that can occur in the atmosphere that can help induce a little bit of an eddy. Usually these, if you do see the funnels dipping down, they're short-lived. Haven't heard of any reports of this happening tonight, but the setup does favor it, and I usually hesitate mentioning this out ahead of time because usually when you start talking about funnels dipping down, it gets people riled up, and I don't like to do that when usually they're weak and they rarely touch the ground. Even if they do touch the ground, typically they are on the weak side. That said, you should still treat them as any other tornado. So that's just kind of a look at some of the parameters I'm looking at here. Down low, that's where most of our spin is in the lowest kilometer. And even still, those winds, if you've stepped outside, they're weak today. So we don't actually have a lot of rigorous spin. So that 1 kilometer down to the surface, 10 knots of spin, and that's just not going to get it done. I start looking at 20 to 25 before I start getting really antsy with the setup. Let's go back to the weather graphics here, and I just want to say again, just lacking in the shear department here, some modest levels of energy. But that will only send up pulses of storms, and usually these individual pulses are short-lived. Spots of wind and hail are possible, but I just don't think it's going to happen on a widespread level. So on the note of excessive rain, we'll watch especially southeastern Iowa. That's where I think we get the most coverage in terms of thunderstorms after, I'd say, 7 o'clock here for tonight. And that's where you start to see that slight risk showing up, that yellow over southeastern Iowa. I think we're looking at a range in isolated spots, and this would go through Wednesday, 1 to 3 inches. So we have northwestern Iowa. Some of that has already fallen. And then you see the coverage especially shifts down over southeastern Iowa with time, and kind of a more widespread coverage here. So we will continue to see storms build in as we go through time. What I do have is a weather impact alert day status that goes out for the weekend for high heat and humidity. We're going to get those temperatures back up in the mid-90s. We'll have dew points in the low 70s. And you combine that, you start hitting that 100 to 105 degree range into the afternoon. So take care of yourselves, stay hydrated, take breaks if you need to be outside for extended periods. And we may need to extend this alert because look at Friday. That's no slouch either at 91 with a heat index of 98. And if those conditions align appropriately, we may be able to boost things just a little bit. Now, there is a slight chance for some rain, mainly over northeastern Iowa. I am going to run you through Futurecast here, hour by hour. I'm going to manually drive things here. Notice the progression tonight. The rain does slip further to the south, but the coverage just isn't quite there. We'll still have a small rain chance, a couple of bubblings here and there, but severe risk is low, and the heavy rain pockets definitely diminish with time. Now we'll start to see a little bit more vigor as we go through the morning tomorrow. There's some embedded rumbles and a widespread shield of rain over eastern Iowa, and a little bit of clearing. It will be brief into Wednesday afternoon on the western edge, and I think that starts to pulse up just a little bit more activity you see there right on our western edge, and that will continue to funnel through, I'd say, through about 5 o'clock that night. So that's the progression of rain that leads us to those spots of 1 to 3 inches, but not everyone is going to get up to those amounts. Here's the 10-day with our weather impact alert day status. I have 96 on Saturday, 94 on Sunday, the two of the hottest, but I'd be watching to see if this alert day status needs to be extended to Friday and Monday. But at this point, I think the clear screamers are lining up for our weekend to be the hottest. Heat index of a 100 to 105. Take care of yourself if you have to be outdoors. So tracking a couple of things here for tonight. Thunderstorms with some locally heavy rainfall. Northwestern Iowa initially, then transitioning to southeastern Iowa with time into Wednesday. Remove that weather impact alert day status for this evening just because I'm not expecting severe weather at this point. That's a look at your Local 5 weather impact forecast here on We Are Iowa Plus. Thanks for joining me here on this update. You take care of yourself and stay safe.